So a ton of people have been asking me to make a video on how to get geared in Throne and Liberty. So let's get right into it. Starting off with how do you obtain different types of gear? Generally, you will craft most of your green gear as you can leave Castleton with a fully geared out set of green gear. You may be missing like one or two accessories, but you can get these lithographs from the contract merchant for 100 contract coins, and you can easily craft all of your green gear very, very early on in the game. So definitely do not worry about getting green gear. It is not very important. So the next tier up from green gear is blue gear, and blue gear is really important. You're going to be following a guide for what blue gear you want depending on your weapon combo. You can look them up on like Maxroll, or you can look them up on questlog.gg. I'm following a guide by Canon XO on questlog.gg for what items I want to go. So anyways, make sure you figure out what blue items you want to find, and then there are different ways of finding those blue items. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to look at where to obtain your items. So for example, I needed this blue helm, the visor of the resistance, because it has a built-in melee evasion trait, not a trait, but it just has built-in melee evasion, which is what I'm going for. So if you click on it and then you go to how to acquire, it will show you where you can get it from. So you can kill these under hunt. You can kill these guys and it'll drop from them. You can get it from the codex as a final reward selection. You can lithograph it, which is how I got it. And then finally, you can craft it from the merchants if you have a lithograph. So anyways, that is how you find different types of gear. You have all of your different weapons, gear, accessories, etc. You can figure out how to find them all just by clicking on them and doing the how to acquire. So anyways, the main ways that you will be acquiring gear in this game is by doing abyssal dungeons. So for example, Temple of Silvaveth, let's see, Ant Nest, the Celius's Abyss, the Shadow Crypt, and then there's a couple other like Saradomo Island and Sanctum of Desire, etc. So anyways, your gear that you need might be from those. It might be from just a drop in the open world. It just sort of depends on what build you're going. To get drops from these abyssal dungeons, you need these abyssal contract tokens. There's a number of ways of getting them. You can get them from doing contracts in the game. Just your daily contracts, you get like I actually don't remember how many you get from each one, but I know you get them from that. You can also get them from doing your just co-op dungeons. I think you get 500 of these from each co-op dungeon. You get them from Amatoy expeditions. So there's a number of ways of getting these contract tokens. I'm pretty much always maxed out because I just haven't had a lot of time to grind, especially with making all the videos that I've been making. But yeah, so that's how you grind a lot of the gear that you're going to be wanting to get in this game. So now you may be asking, how do you get purple gear? Because that's the next up from blue gear. Now I will cover how to get purple gear, but let me explain that if you're not spending money on this game, a fully traded out piece of blue gear is stronger than a non-traded out piece of purple gear. So if you're not spending money on this game, you probably should just go with a fully traded out piece of blue gear for the time being until you find enough copies of the purple gear. I'm not going to go too in depth in trading on this video. I just made a guide over that, so you can go look at that if you want to. But just keep in mind that if you're not paying money in this game, starting out, you're definitely going to want to just fully trade out your blue gear, as it will be much cheaper. You can actually make the Lucent, free to play to fully trade out your blue gear. Whereas if you are trying to trade out purple gear, it can be way more expensive. For example, if we look at, say, the traits on these pants. So actually the Hex Weaver ones will be relatively expensive, but say we just go to melee evasion. You know what? I'm not going to be able to do it because the auction house is extremely laggy right now. But just trust me that the traits on these pants are like 10 Lucent each. And then the traits on, say, like a purple piece of gear is like 100 to 900 Lucent each. So it's way more expensive to trade out purple gear. So again, unless you're spending money, just keep in mind, fully traded out blue is better than purple. So how do you get purple gear? Say that you are spending money or you just want to start grinding your purple gear. So you can get those purple pouches from contracts. If you open those, you have a chance at getting purple gear in the shop. If you go down to ornate coins, the shop is down, or I guess it's not. You can buy these precious blessing pouches. These also give you a chance at getting purple gear, as you see right there. You can also get one precious blessing pouch per day from your contract merchant. I won't go over there right now, but just trust me on that. And other than that, you can get them from the open world dungeons. For example, if we go over to Shadow Crypt, let's see if it loads, and we just click on them. You can, as you can see, you will rarely get a purple drop from that dungeon. Like I think in 2 hours of grinding, I maybe got 2 purple drops. So it's not like awful, but it's definitely not great either. And then finally, you can get purple drops by either buying them on the auction house. Again, my auction house is extremely laggy right now, so I won't show you. Or you can buy the purple lithographs and then come over to our weapon crafter. or our senior weapon crafter, and then you can craft your different things, different weapons if you have the lithographs for them. So for example, you have a precious lithograph of the crossbows of steel, then you need 10 of the precious material, and you need 10 magic powder. So you're going to get your materials. You can buy 3 of these from your contract merchant every single day. Magic powder is from breaking down or dissolving items, and then polished crystals, you'll get a ton of these just from drops from creatures in the world. So that's how you get purple items. Again, they can be relatively hard to get and trade out, so just keep that in mind. I can't stress that enough for sure. So moving on to how do you upgrade your gear and all that. So once you have your gear, you're going to want to upgrade it so you can level it up right here. And basically the way it works is you're going to want, starting off with your green gear, you're going to want to level that up all the way to 6 max level. Make sure you max it out, and then you can put it into your blue gear, and then you're going to want to max out your blue gear. However, you're not going to want to max out, or you're not going to want to transfer your level into your next piece of gear with your blue gear. So the transferring works is you just have a leveled up piece of gear and you can put it into that. So like say I had a level 6 maxed out green piece, I put it into this not leveled at all blue piece. This will go to level 3 because it's about like halfway, and then you'll have to level up your blue all the way to level 9. Now when you're transferring your blue levels into your purple levels, do not transfer them right away. This is a trick that I learned online. You're going to want to upgrade your purple gear all the way to level 7 first. And the reason is that if you upgrade your purple to level 7 and then you put your level 9 blue gear into it, you'll get a fully maxed out piece of purple gear. And the reason you want to do this is when you're leveling up purple gear, it starts off at 1 precious growth stone per level, but then it goes up. It goes like 2 and then 3, and then I think it goes up linearly, but I'm not exactly sure. But you're going to be spending an insane amount of armor and growth stones at the very end when you're trying to level up your purple gear to say 9 and 8 and 9. So if you level up your purple gear first and then transfer in the blue gear, then you will save yourself a bunch of growth stones. So that's just something to keep in mind when you are transferring it from blue to purple. Again, most people, unless you're spending a lot, aren't going to be doing that for a while. So that's everything I wanted to say on the leveling up and transferring. It's really important to do that correctly because growth stones are very limited and they can be extremely hard to obtain. So let's move on to trading. Again, I have a full trading guide. I'll have it linked at the end of this video as well if you want to go look at that. I go into traits I go into them very in depth, and it should be everything you need. But just know that traits are extra stats that you can put onto your gear, and they add different statistics depending on what your build is. So for example, again, I said I'm stacking melee evasion, and as you can see, I have melee evasion on a fair number of my gear. Not all of them, because I didn't want to spend the lucent early on. I'm sort of hoarding it until prices come down, because we're not really doing much PvP right now, so it's not that important to be fully geared out. But yeah, that is just something to keep in mind. Do know about trading. So anyways, that is about it on how to get fully geared up in Throne and Liberty. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. If you want to connect with me, my Discord is in the description, so feel free to hop by and say hi. I pretty much respond to everyone nowadays, so feel free to say hi. I'm happy to say hi back. And other than that, I hope y'all are having a ton of fun in Throne and Liberty. I know I have. Hopefully you found this guide helpful. I'll have some skill build guides coming out later this week, I think, and a number of other guides. And yeah, so anyways, thank you so much for watching. You can catch this trait guide here if you don't know how to do traits. And other than that, I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching.